The woman who carries her pain in silence is a powerful soul, a reflection of the invisible world within her. Her strength is not found in the loud cries or in seeking pity from others, but in the quiet determination to transform her inner world. She understands that the true battle is fought in the mind, that the thoughts she nurtures and the beliefs she holds shape her reality. In her silence, she gathers the fragments of her pain and turns them into seeds of possibility. She does not give her power away to the circumstances that seek to define her, nor does she allow the external world to dictate the course of her inner peace. There is an untold story behind her eyes, a tale of resilience and endurance. Yet she knows that the key to her transformation lies not in the telling of this story, but in the rewriting of it. The woman who carries her pain in silence has learned that her thoughts are the creators of her world. She has come to understand that even in her darkest moments, she holds the power to change her inner narrative, to heal, and to rise above the pain that once seemed insurmountable. In her silence, she is not weak, she is not defeated. She is an alchemist, transmuting pain into wisdom, fear into courage, and sorrow into strength. The world may never hear her tears, but her soul knows the depth of the work she is doing. She is quiet not because she has no voice, but because she has chosen to speak in a language that transcends words. Her power is in her silence, her knowing, and the unwavering belief that the end of the story is always in her hands. She knows that even in the midst of her suffering, there is a greater reality, a reality where pain is but a stepping stone to her greater self. And so she carries her pain not as a burden, but as a reminder of the power she has to change, to heal, and to create. In silence, she becomes the woman who, through her own inner transformation, will one day reveal the fullness of her strength and her brilliance. She has embraced the truth that the pain she carries is not her identity, it is simply a passage, a necessary part of her journey to the fullest expression of who she truly is. The woman who carries her pain in silence is a being of extraordinary depth, a vessel of silent strength, her story written not on the pages of books or spoken in words, but etched within the very core of her being. She walks through life in quiet grace, not because she does not feel the weight of the world upon her shoulders, but because she understands that the true source of her power lies in the unseen realm, within the silent, fertile space where thoughts and beliefs hold dominion over everything. The world may never hear the cry of her heart, but it is her ability to rise in silence, to find her way through the storms of life without fanfare, that makes her truly powerful. There are moments in life when the weight of grief, loss, disappointment, and pain becomes unbearable. Yet this woman carries it with a grace that seems almost imperceptible to those around her. She does not seek attention for her struggles, nor does she expect anyone to rescue her from the storms that rage within her. She knows that her greatest strength lies not in her ability to express her suffering to the world, but in her ability to transform it quietly within herself. Her strength is rooted in a profound understanding that the world she experiences is as a reflection of the inner world she cultivates. Every thought, every belief, every assumption she holds creates the reality that she lives in. She knows, on a deep and intuitive level, that she is the creator of her own destiny. In the silence of her pain, she knows the power of her thoughts. She does not allow her circumstances, no matter how painful or difficult, to dictate the course of her life. Instead, she takes responsibility for her internal state, knowing that it is her inner reality that shapes the world around her. She understands that pain is not something to be avoided or suppressed, but something to be faced, understood, and ultimately transformed. She embraces her pain as a teacher, for in every painful experience, she sees an opportunity for growth, an opportunity to change her thoughts, and in doing so, change her life. This woman carries her pain not as a burden, but as a catalyst for transformation. She knows that within the darkest moments lie the seeds of her greatest revelations. Each experience of suffering provides her with an opportunity to question her beliefs, to challenge the assumptions that have shaped her view of the world. She knows that what she believes to be true about herself and her circumstances will manifest in her external reality. So rather than seeking external solutions to her pain, She seeks to change the only thing she can control, her own mind. She understands that her thoughts are powerful, more powerful than any external circumstance or event. The world may try to define her by her pain, to label her as weak or broken, but she refuses to accept this. Instead, she looks inward and asks herself, what beliefs do I hold that have created this pain? What assumptions have I been living by that no longer serve me? In this moment of inquiry, she takes back her power, knowing that her beliefs, her assumptions, and her thoughts are the true architects of her reality. In her silence, she finds strength, for she knows that true power is not found in external expressions of strength or in the validation of others. True power is found in the quiet moments of inner stillness, when she can connect to the truth of who she is beyond the surface of her circumstances. She knows that her inner world is the foundation upon which her outer world is built. So she nurtures her thoughts, gently guiding them toward a vision of healing, of transformation, of holiness. As she carries her pain in silence, she becomes acutely aware of the power of her imagination. She knows that the images she holds in her mind, the mental pictures she creates, are the blueprint for her life. Every moment she spends imagining a life free from pain, every moment she spends visualizing herself healed, whole, and strong, is a moment that brings her closer to her desired reality. She does not need to see evidence in the outer world to believe in her own transformation. She knows that the law of cause and effect operates in the unseen world of thought and imagination. What she imagines, what she believes to be true, will ultimately manifest in her external reality. There are times when the weight of her pain seems unbearable, when the world around her seems to offer no hope. But she knows that her thoughts are stronger than any external force. In the silence of her mind, she chooses to focus on what she wants to experience, not on the pain that is present. She knows that pain is temporary, and it is only through focusing on the present moment, on what she wants to create, that she can shift her inner state and begin to transform her life. This woman understands that silence is not emptiness. It is a fertile space, a place where creation takes root. When she is quiet, when she stills her mind and her heart, she taps into the creative power of the universe. She knows that it is in silence that the seeds of her desires are planted and nourished. She does not need to speak her pain to the world, because she knows that her thoughts and feelings are far more powerful than any spoken words. Her silence is her power, her ability to tune into the frequency of the life she wants to create. Her silence is not a sign of weakness, but of deep understanding. She has learned to listen to the subtle whispers of her soul, to trust the quiet guidance that comes from within. She knows that the answers to all of her questions lie not in the external world, but in her inner being. It is in silence that she can hear the voice of her true self, the voice that is aligned with the divine, the voice that knows no pain, no suffering, no limitation. This voice speaks to her through her thoughts, through the images in her mind, through the feelings in her heart. And it is through listening to this inner voice that she finds the strength to rise above her circumstances. The woman who carries her pain in silence is not alone in her journey. She is connected to a deeper source, a source that transcends the physical world and the limitations of the human mind. She understands that she is not just her pain, that she is not defined by her suffering. She is a spiritual being having a human experience, and her true nature is one of infinite potential, of boundless creativity, of unconditional love. She knows that her pain is temporary, that it is merely a passing cloud in the vast sky of her being. In her silence, she connects to the infinite possibilities that lie beyond her pain. She knows that she can create a new reality for herself, a reality that is free from the constraints of the past, a reality that is aligned with the desires of her heart. She understands that her imagination is the key to unlocking this new reality. She knows that by visualizing the life she wants, by imagining herself healed, whole, and at peace, she is laying the foundation for her new life to take form. She is not a victim of her pain, but a master of her thoughts, a creator of her reality. She has learned to take responsibility for her inner state, to choose thoughts that align with her desires, to focus on the vision of herself that she wants to become. She does not wait for the world to change before she changes her thoughts. She knows that by changing her thoughts, she will change the world around her. As she moves through life carrying her pain in silence, she does not allow it to define her. She is not her pain, she is the creator of her pain's transformation. In her quiet moments, she knows that she has the power to heal, to rise above, and to create a new reality that is aligned with her highest good. She understands that pain, like everything else in life, is temporary. And it is through her silent belief in her ability to change that she is able to transcend the pain and move toward a future filled with peace, joy, and fulfillment. The woman who carries her pain in silence is a testament to the power of the mind, to the incredible capacity of the human spirit to rise above adversity. She is not a victim of her circumstances, but a creator of her reality. In her silence, she has discovered the truth of who she is, a powerful being capable of transforming her life, of healing her wounds, and of manifesting her deepest desires. She knows that within her lies the power to create a life that is beyond her wildest dreams. And so, she moves forward, carrying her pain not as a burden, but as a tool for her greatest transformation. The woman who carries her pain in silence is a figure of profound strength, a silent warrior in the battlefield of life. There is a power within her that no one can see, no one can hear, and yet it is a force that shapes the course of her existence. This woman knows something that most people do not, that true power does not lie in the external world, in the recognition of others, or in the validation of her pain. Her strength, her true power resides in the quiet recesses of her mind, where she shapes her reality through the thoughts she holds, the beliefs she nurtures, and the imagination she cultivates. In the face of hardship, in the moments when life presses down on her with all its weight, she does not react with outward expression or seek pity from the world. Instead, she takes it all in, every emotion, every feeling, every moment of suffering, and she transforms it into something new. This transformation does not occur in the open, for the world is not privy to her process. It happens in the silence, in the private corners of her consciousness, where she holds dominion over what she chooses to believe and what she chooses to create. The world may look at her and see only the surface. Perhaps they see a woman who appears to carry the weight of the world, or one who is always calm, composed, and in control. But beneath the surface, beneath her quiet demeanor, is a woman engaged in the most powerful work of all, the work of self-transformation. In the silence, she is not passive, she is actively reprogramming her mind, reshaping the mental images that form the foundation of her reality. It is not an easy task to carry pain in silence. It requires a certain kind of inner resolve, a faith in the unseen forces that govern life. The woman who carries her pain silently understands that her outer circumstances are only a reflection of her inner world, that the world around her is merely a mirror of the beliefs she holds deep within. She knows that pain is not a permanent state, nor is it a mark of her identity. Pain, like everything else, is transient, and it exists only in the moment of her belief in it. She knows that the pain she experiences is not something to be avoided, not something to be suppressed or denied. Instead, she embraces it, acknowledging it for what it is, a temporary experience that holds the power to teach, to refine, and to elevate. Every ounce of pain she feels, every tear that she holds back, is an opportunity for her to examine her beliefs, to question the assumptions that have governed her life up until now. She understands that it is only through facing her pain head-on, through allowing herself to feel it without fear or resistance, that she can begin to release it, to transform it into something far greater. This is where the true power of the woman who carries her pain in silence lies, in her ability to shift her thoughts and beliefs. The pain she feels does not define her. It does not limit her potential. It does not control her. Instead, she has learned that her thoughts, her beliefs, and her assumptions are the forces that shape her reality. Her pain, her suffering, is simply a reflection of what she has believed about herself, her life, and the world around her. But she knows that these beliefs can be changed. She knows that she has the power to reprogram her mind, to replace thoughts of limitation with thoughts of possibility, thoughts of fear with thoughts of courage, thoughts of pain with thoughts of healing. And so she becomes a master of her inner world, carefully choosing the thoughts she allows to take root in her mind. She does not allow her pain to dictate her thoughts. Instead, she becomes the master of her thoughts, choosing to focus on what she wants to experience rather than what she is currently experiencing. She knows that the key to her transformation lies in her ability to envision a new reality, to create a new mental image of herself that is free from the pain of the past. She no longer identifies with her suffering. She no longer believes that her pain is a permanent part of who she is. Instead, she holds a vision of herself as whole, as healed, as free. In the silence of her mind, she begins to imagine a different life, a life where pain no longer holds sway over her. She imagines herself stepping into a new reality, one where she is free from the shackles of her past, one where she is whole, healthy, and vibrant. She imagines herself standing tall, strong, and confident, moving through life with ease, grace, and strength. And in doing so, she begins to shift the very fabric of her reality. But this process is not instantaneous. It requires patience, persistence, and faith. The woman who carries her pain in silence knows that change takes time. She understands that it is not enough to simply wish for a different life. She must consciously and consistently choose to align her thoughts with the vision she holds. She must be willing to persist, to stay focused on her desired outcome, even when the external world does not reflect the changes she is creating within. She knows that the outer world always follows the inner world, that the shift she seeks on the outside must first occur within her mind. But through it all, she remains silent. She does not seek recognition for her efforts, nor does she seek applause for the transformation she has undergone. She understands that the work she is doing is sacred, that it is a private journey between her and her higher self. She does not need the validation of others to know that she is on the right path. She knows that the only validation that matters is the feeling of peace, of joy, and of alignment that she experiences within herself. As she moves through life, she becomes more and more attuned to the power of her thoughts, to the power of her imagination. She realizes that the world she experiences is not a random series of events, but a reflection of the thoughts and beliefs she holds in her mind. She knows that she is the creator of her reality, that the events of her life are not happening to her, but through her. She understands that everything she experiences is a result of the images she holds in her mind, the thoughts she thinks, and the beliefs she holds about herself and the world. This realization is a powerful one. It is the realization that she is not a passive observer in her life, but an active participant in the creation of her reality. She is not a victim of her circumstances, but the master of them. She has the power to change her reality at any moment, simply by changing the way she thinks. She knows that nothing is impossible for her, that she can have, be, and do anything she desires, as long as she is willing to change her thoughts and beliefs to match the life she wants to create. And so as she moves forward, carrying her pain in silence, she does so with the knowledge that she is not defined by her pain. She is not limited by her circumstances. She is not bound by the beliefs of the past. She is free to create a new reality, a reality that is aligned with her highest good, a reality that reflects the truth of who she is, a powerful creator, capable of manifesting her deepest desires. Through it all, the woman who carries her pain in silence remains steadfast in her belief that she has the power to create her reality. She knows that nothing is beyond her reach, that every moment holds the possibility of transformation, that every thought she thinks has the power to shape the world around her. And in this knowing, she becomes unstoppable. She becomes a force of nature, a woman who, though silent, carries within her the power to change her life and the world forever. The woman who carries her pain in silence is an embodiment of profound inner strength. To the outside world, she may appear to be simply enduring the weight of life's burdens, but within her there is a quiet power, a quiet force that is beyond measure. It is not the strength of muscle or outward expression that defines her, but rather the strength of her mind, the strength of her inner world. She knows, perhaps better than anyone else, that the world she experiences is not determined by what happens to her, but by what she believes, by the images she holds in her mind. It is not the pain that defines her, but the way in which she chooses to process that pain within herself in the silence of her own thoughts. Pain is often misunderstood. It is not something to be avoided, something to be feared, or something to be hidden away. Pain is a messenger, a teacher, a guide that reveals what is out of alignment in our minds, in our beliefs, and in the way we see ourselves and the world. And the woman who carries her pain in silence understands this on a deep level. She understands that the pain she experiences is not a permanent condition but a temporary state of being. She knows that all things, including pain, are transient. It is her thoughts about that pain, her beliefs surrounding it, that determine how long it will last and how much power it will have over her. Her true power lies in her ability to change her internal state, to alter her beliefs, to shift her perceptions. She knows that everything begins within her. Every experience, every relationship, every circumstance is a reflection of the thoughts and beliefs she holds in her mind. The pain, too, is a reflection of those beliefs, and she has learned through her own journey that it is not the pain itself that matters, but how she responds to it. She does not react with anger, resentment, or fear. Instead, she goes within and begins to ask herself the most important question of all: what is this pain here to teach me? When pain arises, most people seek to push it away, to numb it, to deny its existence. But the woman who carries her pain in silence knows that the only way to truly heal is to face it, to examine it with an open heart and a calm mind. She knows that by embracing her pain, by acknowledging it without judgment, she can transform it into something powerful. She is not a victim of her pain, but its master. She understands that everything, even the most difficult emotions, can be transmuted through thought, through conscious awareness, and through the power of imagination. In silence, she retreats inward. She allows the pain to surface, to be felt, but she does not identify with it. She does not see herself as someone who is defined by her suffering. She recognizes that she is not her pain. She is the one who experiences it, but she is not bound by it. She understands that her true nature is not found in the pain, but in the peace and wholeness that lie beyond it. And so she turns her attention away from the physical sensations of pain, away from the stories of suffering, and instead focuses on the mental images she is creating in her mind. She knows that her mind is a powerful tool, and that by directing her thoughts, she can create new realities, new possibilities. The power of thought is something the woman who carries her pain in silence understands deeply. She knows that the outer world is a reflection of the inner world, that everything in her life is shaped by the thoughts she chooses to hold. When she experiences pain, she recognizes it as a signal, an opportunity to change the mental images she has been holding about herself and the world. She understands that pain is not a reflection of some inherent flaw within her, but rather a reflection of misaligned thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions. It is the product of the mental images she has allowed to take root in her consciousness. And just as easily as she can change those images, she can change her experience of pain. In the silence, she begins the process of transformation. She imagines a different reality, one where she is free from the pain, where she is healed, whole, and at peace. She envisions herself as strong, as radiant, as a woman who moves through life with grace, ease, and confidence. She imagines herself surrounded by love, supported by the universe, and flowing effortlessly through the challenges that once seemed insurmountable. These images are not mere fantasies, they are the seeds of her new reality. As she holds them in her mind, as she imagines herself living in alignment with these new images, she begins to shift the energy within her being. The pain begins to lose its grip. The power it once held over her begins to dissipate. But this transformation does not happen overnight. It requires patience, persistence, and faith. The woman who carries her pain in silence knows that change takes time. She knows that the mental images she is creating must be supported by consistent thought and belief. It is not enough to simply have a moment of clarity or inspiration. She must continue to feed her mind with the images of her desired reality. She must continue to align her thoughts with the life she wants to experience. And so, day by day, she returns to the silence of her inner world. She continues to imagine herself as the woman who is free from pain, who is whole, who is empowered. She knows that the more she imagines this reality, the more it will become her experience. There are times when the external world may not reflect these changes immediately. There are times when she may be faced with circumstances that seem to reinforce the pain, that seem to validate her old beliefs. But the woman who carries her pain in silence understands that the outer world is always a reflection of the inner world. She knows that the changes she is making within herself will eventually show up in the external world. She does not give up when things do not immediately align. She does not falter in her vision. Instead, she continues to persist, knowing that the seeds she has planted in her mind are growing and that, in time, they will bear fruit. The woman who carries her pain in silence also understands that she is not alone. She knows that the universe or the higher forces at work in her life are always guiding her, always supporting her, always working in her favor. She knows that every experience, every challenge, every moment of pain is an opportunity for growth and transformation. She understands that there is a divine intelligence that orchestrates every aspect of her life, and that she is always exactly where she needs to be. She trusts that the pain she is experiencing is part of a larger plan, part of the process of her awakening, her healing, and her evolution. She knows that she is being guided to become the best version of herself, to step into her full power, and to live a life of joy, peace, and fulfillment. The woman who carries her pain in silence is not broken, she is not weak. She is strong, she is whole, and she is more than capable of creating a life of peace, joy, and fulfillment. She understands that the power to change her life lies within her, and she is not afraid to use that power. In silence, she creates a new reality, a reality where she is free from the pain that once defined her, and where she steps into the fullness of her power and potential. And in doing so, she becomes the woman she was always meant to be, a woman who is strong, healed, whole, and unstoppable. The silence in which she carries her pain is not a silence of denial or repression. It is a silence that speaks volumes. In this silence, she listens to the deeper currents of her soul. She listens to the whispers of truth that rise from within her, guiding her towards the understanding that she is not defined by her pain. She knows that the pain she feels is temporary, a passing phase that will dissolve as soon as she changes her mental state. She knows that all things, including pain, are fleeting, and that it is only the identification with that pain that keeps it in place. By turning her attention to her inner truth, to the reality of her being, she knows that she can transcend the pain and experience life as it was always meant to be lived with peace, joy, and freedom. It is in this silence that she begins the work of imagination. She imagines herself whole, healed, and at peace. She imagines herself free from the pain, moving through life with grace and ease, unaffected by the challenges that once seemed insurmountable. She sees herself surrounded by love, supported by the universe, and living a life of fulfillment and joy. These mental images are not wishful thinking. They are the blueprints of her new reality. Every thought she holds, every image she imagines is a seed planted in the fertile soil of her subconscious mind, and as she continues to water and nurture these thoughts, they will take root and grow into her reality. The woman who carries her pain in silence understands that healing is not a one-time event. It is a process, a journey of self-discovery and transformation. She knows that the power of imagination is not something that can be called upon in a moment of desperation, but something that must be practiced consistently, day in and day out. It is not enough to simply imagine herself healed once and expect the world to change instantly. She must feed her mind with these images constantly, flooding her subconscious with the belief that healing is inevitable, that her true nature is one of peace, joy, and love. But there are moments when the pain resurfaces. There are times when the world outside does not reflect the changes she has made inside. There are moments when it feels as though the pain will never end, when the doubts creep in, and when the world seems to be conspiring against her. But the woman who carries her pain in silence knows that these moments are part of the process. She knows that nothing is permanent, that all things, including pain, are temporary. She understands that the external world is always lagging behind the inner world. And so she continues to hold her vision of healing, of peace, and of wholeness. She does not allow the external circumstances to dictate her inner state. She knows that her inner state is the only true reality, and that the outer world must eventually reflect the changes she has made within. The silence she holds is not a silence of resignation. It is a silence of power. It is a silence that says, I am the creator of my experience. I am the master of my mind. I am the one who shapes my reality. In this silence, she finds her strength. She knows that she is not a victim of her circumstances, but a powerful being capable of creating the life she desires. She understands that the key to her freedom lies within her ability to control her thoughts and emotions, to choose the images she holds in her mind, and to align herself with the truth of her being. In the silence, the woman who carries her pain becomes a magnet for the reality she wishes to create. She knows that what she focuses on expands, and so she focuses on the images of her desired reality, not on the pain she currently feels. She focuses on the feelings of peace, joy, and love that she knows are her birthright. She focuses on the vision of herself living a life free from suffering, surrounded by abundance, love, and all that is good. And in doing so, she begins to draw those experiences into her life. There are those who will look at her and wonder how she remains so calm, so composed, even in the midst of pain. But the woman who carries her pain in silence understands that true strength is not about suppressing emotions or pretending that everything is fine. True strength is about embracing the power of the mind to change the circumstances of life, to transform pain into power, and to create a reality that is aligned with her true self. She knows that silence is not a sign of weakness, but of inner strength. It is in the silence that she finds her true power, the power to create, the power to heal, and the power to become the woman she was always meant to be. In the silence, she remembers who she truly is. She remembers that she is not the pain she carries, but the one who carries it. She is not the suffering she experiences, but the consciousness that experiences it. She is not bound by the limitations of her past, her pain, or her circumstances. She is free. She is whole. And as she continues to hold these truths in her mind, they begin to shape her reality. She knows that the pain she carries is not her enemy, but her teacher, and that by facing it, by transforming it, she is stepping into her highest self. Through this process, she becomes more than just a woman who carries her pain in silence. She becomes a woman who transforms her pain into power, into peace, into love. She becomes the creator of her reality, the master of her fate, and the embodiment of the truth that she is capable of healing, transforming, and living the life of her dreams. In conclusion, the woman who carries her pain in silence is not defined by her suffering, but by the profound strength she draws from within. She understands that pain is not her identity, but an opportunity for growth, a catalyst for transformation. Through silence, she becomes the alchemist of her own soul, turning her suffering into wisdom, her struggles into power, and her wounds into the fertile ground for her own awakening. She knows that she holds the key to her healing, that the power to transcend her pain lies not in the world around her, but in the way she chooses to perceive and respond to it. Her journey is one of profound self-realization, a deep knowing that her inner world creates the outer reality she experiences. And as she continues to embrace this truth, she steps into a life of peace, purpose, and freedom, unshaken by the external forces that once seemed to dictate her life. Let us take a moment now to center ourselves in prayer, knowing that we are one with this divine force, this infinite power that flows through all of us, guiding us towards healing and wholeness. A prayer for healing and strength. The divine presence, source of all life, we come to you now in humble recognition of the power that resides within us. We thank you for the strength that you have given us, for the courage to face our pain, and for the wisdom to know that it is not our enemy but our teacher. We ask that you open our hearts to receive your healing light, that you help us see the truth of our being, that we are whole, that we are loved, that we are powerful beyond measure. In this moment, we release all beliefs that have kept us bound to suffering. We let go of the past, of the hurts, the disappointments, and the wounds that have shaped our identity. We know that we are not our pain, we are the creators of our reality, the masters of our own fate. We choose to embrace the truth of who we are, whole, healed, and abundant in all things. We ask that you surround us with your peace, that you fill us with your love, and that you guide us in every step of our journey. May we walk with confidence, knowing that we have the power to transform our lives with every thought, every belief, every action. We release all fear, doubt, and limitation, and we open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that lie before us. We give thanks for the healing that is already unfolding, for the strength that is already ours, and for the peace that is already within us. We know that as we continue to focus on the truth of our being, our pain will dissolve, and we will step into the life that you have always intended for us, a life of joy, love, and unshakable peace. Thank you, Divine Source, for your infinite love and guidance. We trust in your perfect timing and in the power of our own mind to create the reality we desire. We are grateful for the healing that is already taking place within us, and we walk forward in faith, knowing that all things are possible. And so it is. Ladies and gentlemen, what if I told you that the life you've always dreamed of is not far off, not in some distant future, but within reach, waiting only for you to see it clearly? Right now, everything you desire stands just on the other side of a single shift, how you see yourself. In every one of us, there's a self-image that silently shapes our reality. This image is like an invisible sculptor molding every opportunity, every relationship, and every outcome in our lives. Yet most of us are barely aware of it. We walk through life thinking our circumstances are beyond our control, but in truth, they are mirrors of the image we hold within. Have you ever felt stuck, as if no matter what you do, you can't break free of certain patterns in life? The reason may surprise you. It's not the world that's holding you back. It's the version of yourself you're carrying inside. The moment you change this self-image, you change the course of your destiny. Our lives, our happiness, and even our success are largely determined by how we see ourselves. Self-image isn't just a concept. It's the foundation of every dream we chase, every decision we make, and every action we take. When you transform your self-image, you unlock the power to create a life you truly love. Think of it this way: every thought, every choice, and every goal in your life is born from the belief of who you are. If that belief is limited, your reality will reflect it. But if you dare to elevate your self-image, the world will expand in ways you've never imagined. The key to manifesting the life of your dreams doesn't lie in luck or in working endlessly. It lies in mastering the image you hold of yourself. Imagine waking up every day knowing you are already the person you aspire to be: confident, capable, and fully aligned with your highest potential. Life is not about striving to become someone different, but rather about uncovering the powerful, capable version of yourself that's been there all along. When you make this shift, you start to attract experiences, people, and opportunities that match this new identity. It's as if the universe finally aligns with your truest self. Think of all the people who've achieved remarkable things in life. The difference wasn't just in their actions, it was in the way they saw themselves. By changing their self-image, they rewrote their reality. You have that same power within you, just waiting to be activated. Imagine the freedom of stepping into a life where you're no longer held back by doubts, fears, or past mistakes. When you shift your self-image, you're not just changing how you see yourself, you're unlocking a future filled with limitless possibilities, a life that resonates with who you truly are. Today we're going to dive into how you can take control of this powerful force within. So get ready to explore a life-changing shift that has the potential to bring you closer to your dreams, your goals, and the highest vision you've ever held for yourself. This journey to manifesting your ideal life begins here. Your self-image is like the blueprint of a building, determining every detail and outcome in your life. It silently guides your choices, behaviors, and even the opportunities that come your way. Without even realizing it, you align your life with the person you believe yourself to be. This self-image dictates the limits of your success, relationships, and happiness. When you view yourself in a limiting way, you set invisible boundaries on what you can achieve. But when you transform this image, you expand your possibilities. The beauty of this shift is that it doesn't require any external change, only an internal one. Once you understand that your self-image is the root of all your experiences, you hold the power to rewrite it and, in turn, your life. Your self-image acts as the core framework that defines every aspect of your reality. This inner image, whether positive or limiting, influences how you think, feel, and ultimately how you behave in the world. From an early age, we build a self-image based on our experiences, the feedback we receive, and our perception of the world around us. Over time, this image solidifies, often without us consciously choosing it. The fascinating thing is that your self-image operates silently in the background, directing the outcomes of your life without you even realizing it. It's like an invisible director of your personal script. When you view yourself through a limited lens, that perception creates boundaries, preventing you from fully realizing your potential. But when you alter this self-image, you unlock an expanded version of yourself. Your self-image dictates not only how you see yourself, but also how others perceive and respond to you. It shapes the very experiences you attract, creating a ripple effect in every area of your life. The process of change, therefore, starts within. Altering your self-image is like planting a new seed in fertile ground. It requires patience and nurturing, but with time, it yields a transformed reality. Recognizing your self-image as the foundation for everything you wish to achieve grants you the power to consciously reshape it. This inner shift will lead to a dramatic transformation in how you experience life. Assumption is a profound force that goes beyond mere hope or wishing. To assume is to claim, to act as though what you desire is already yours. It's about embodying a belief so strongly that your mind and actions align with it naturally. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you begin to attract experiences that resonate with this new reality. This is the essence of true manifestation, not waiting for external change, but believing in it so deeply that it becomes inevitable. The power of assumption is that it reconditions your mind to accept new possibilities as your truth. This isn't a passive process, it's an active engagement with your highest self. As you assume your ideal life as reality, you'll find the world around you rearranging to support that vision. Assumption isn't about mere wishing, it's about embodying the belief that your desires are already a reality. This principle is incredibly powerful in reshaping your life. When you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you set into motion a mental and emotional alignment that draws you closer to your goals. Assumption becomes a bridge, allowing you to mentally and emotionally live in your desired state, even if the physical reality hasn't yet caught up. Your mind doesn't distinguish between what's vividly imagined and what's real. So by assuming, you trick your subconscious into believing in a new truth. Acting from a place of assumption is not pretending. It's living with a conviction that your dreams are unfolding, which in turn influences your actions and decisions. Assumption changes how you respond to challenges. When you embody your desires as reality, obstacles appear smaller, and you find creative ways to overcome them. Mastering the power of assumption means practicing it daily, reinforcing it until it becomes second nature. As you consistently assume your desired state, you manifest it into physical form. Your mind is a powerful tool, and mental rehearsal is how you harness it to create change. Imagine yourself vividly as the person you want to become, how you speak, how you carry yourself, and the things you accomplish. This mental imagery conditions your brain and body to align with this new self-image. When you practice visualizing yourself in your ideal state daily, it begins to feel real. Mental rehearsal builds confidence, making each visualization a rehearsal for your future success. This isn't daydreaming, it's strategic visualization with a purpose. The more you mentally rehearse, the more natural your ideal self becomes, and the more you attract experiences that confirm this identity. This practice rewires your mind, making way for real transformation. Mental rehearsal is a powerful technique used by elite athletes, successful entrepreneurs, and visionaries to prepare themselves mentally for their desired outcomes. When you visualize yourself in your ideal state, your brain experiences that scenario as if it were real, laying down pathways that make it feel natural. This mental imagery creates familiarity with your new self, making it easier to step into that reality when the time comes. By consistently visualizing your success, you build a sense of confidence and readiness that affects your actions in real life. Mental rehearsal is a rehearsal for success. Each time you engage in it, you strengthen your self-image and your ability to handle future challenges with ease. Through vivid, repeated visualization, you make the desired outcome feel not only possible but also inevitable, preparing both your mind and emotions for it. This practice helps bridge the gap between where you are and where you want to be, making your goals feel as real as your present reality. Limiting beliefs are like chains, holding you back from your fullest potential. They're often rooted in past experiences or inherited ideas that you may not even be aware of. To transform your self-image, you must first recognize these mental barriers. Begin by questioning the beliefs that restrict you, especially those that feel like truths you've accepted without questioning. Every time you uncover a limiting belief, you reclaim a part of your potential. The goal is to clear these beliefs, replacing them with thoughts that support your vision. Identifying these beliefs is an act of courage, and with each one you shed, you free yourself to step closer to the life you desire. By facing them, you create a clean slate for a more empowering self-image. Limiting beliefs are invisible barriers, often instilled in us through past experiences, that dictate how far we think we can go in life. To change your self-image, you must confront these beliefs, questioning whether they serve you or hold you back. Identifying these limiting thoughts requires awareness and honesty. They often appear as doubts, fears, or feelings of inadequacy. Once you recognize these beliefs, you gain the power to challenge and replace them with empowering thoughts that support your vision. It's essential to replace each limiting belief with one that aligns with your desired self-image, creating a mental framework that supports growth. Releasing these beliefs can feel like a weight lifted. Suddenly you're free to imagine, dream, and achieve without restrictions. Each limiting belief you overcome paves the way for a stronger, more resilient self-image, aligned with the life you want to create. Living from the end is the practice of embodying the mindset, emotions, and behaviors of someone who has already achieved their dreams. When you mentally reside in your desired state, you align your energy with that reality, creating a magnetic pull that attracts the experiences you seek. This approach is not about faking it till you make it, but about genuinely adopting the mental and emotional state of your ideal self. Living from the end empowers you to take actions and make decisions that resonate with your desired reality, bridging the gap between your current self and your future self. You begin to see life from a place of fulfillment, which eliminates the neediness and doubts that can deter you from reaching your goals. This practice also shifts your focus from obstacles to possibilities, allowing you to navigate challenges with a calm and confident mindset. Living from the end, consistently and wholeheartedly, enables you to manifest your desires with certainty, as you become the version of yourself who has already succeeded. Words are more than just sounds, they're expressions of thought that shape your internal and external reality. Every word you speak carries an energy that either builds or breaks down your self-image, reinforcing beliefs that define your experience. Positive self-talk fuels confidence, resilience, and determination, while negative self-talk weakens your spirit and limits your growth. By consciously choosing empowering words, you rewire your subconscious to support your goals and align with your highest vision. Each affirmation, each statement of belief strengthens your self-image, bringing you closer to the life you envision. Words are a daily practice. By repeating affirmations and uplifting statements, you condition your mind to think and feel in alignment with your goals. Over time, the words you speak to yourself become your inner reality, building a strong foundation that supports your dreams. Consistency is the force that turns ideas into habits and beliefs into unshakable convictions. A new self-image won't stick unless it's nurtured with daily practice, just like a muscle that requires regular exercise to grow. Each day, make choices and take actions that reflect your desired identity, reinforcing this new self-image. Small, consistent actions add up over time, shaping your thoughts, emotions, and habits in alignment with your vision. Consistency builds trust in yourself. Every day you show up as your ideal self, you strengthen your commitment to this transformation. The beauty of consistency is that it doesn't require perfection, just dedication. Even small steps taken regularly create lasting change. With time, your new identity becomes effortless as consistency solidifies it into an unbreakable part of who you are. Gratitude is a transformative energy that attracts abundance and amplifies joy in every area of your life. When you appreciate what you have, you send a signal of contentment, attracting even more positive experiences into your reality. Gratitude is an acknowledgement of your current blessings, helping you feel fulfilled while pursuing your bigger dreams. This practice shifts your focus from what you lack to what you have, creating an abundant mindset that supports your journey. Expressing gratitude daily nurtures inner peace and aligns your self-image with positivity, enhancing your energy and outlook. Gratitude also creates a sense of completeness, reducing feelings of anxiety or desperation as you pursue your goals. With a grateful heart, you welcome new opportunities, knowing you're already blessed, which accelerates your journey to a fulfilled life. Past labels can create limitations, locking you into identities that no longer serve your goals. To create a new self-image, you must let go of outdated labels and redefine yourself according to your own values and vision. Detachment from the past doesn't mean ignoring it. It means no longer letting it dictate your current and future identity. This process allows you to create space for new qualities, traits, and beliefs that align with who you aspire to become. Shedding these labels is liberating as it frees you from societal expectations or past experiences that don't reflect your potential. Redefining yourself opens the door to a limitless future, one where you are not bound by previous roles or limitations. Each day you detach from old labels, you step closer to the authentic self you are creating, unbound and empowered. Faith is the steady anchor that keeps you moving forward even when results aren't immediately visible. With faith, you can navigate challenges with resilience, trusting that every step is leading you toward your ideal life. Faith provides the strength to stay committed, reinforcing your self-image even when you encounter setbacks. This inner trust calms the mind, eliminating fears and doubts that might otherwise derail your journey. Faith is not passive. It's an active belief in your vision, knowing that your efforts are shaping the future you desire. Holding on to faith fosters patience, enabling you to take consistent action while knowing that results will come. When you have faith in your journey, you transcend obstacles, allowing your self-image to become the guiding force in manifesting your dreams. As we bring this journey to a close, remember that the power to shape your life begins and ends within you. By transforming your self-image, you take control of your destiny, unlocking the potential for a life that's not just imagined, but fully lived. Every action, every thought, and every belief molds the reality you step into. Your self-image is more than a reflection. It's the gateway to everything you desire. Imagine a life where you wake up each day aligned with your goals, where success, happiness, and fulfillment flow naturally because you embody the person who attracts these things. You are not limited by your past or by the labels placed upon you. You are infinitely capable of recreating yourself and living out your highest dreams. By adopting the practices we've explored today, you empower yourself to be more than you ever thought possible. This speech is more than just words. It's an invitation to reclaim your life from limitations, to rise above doubts, and to embody your greatest potential. When you commit to changing your self-image, you'll find that your life begins to reflect this new version of you in ways that seem almost miraculous. This process is your roadmap to growth, fulfillment, and self-mastery. May this message inspire you to start that journey today, knowing that every small shift in how you see yourself brings you one step closer to living the life you were always meant to live. Embrace this path and watch as you transform your world from the inside out. Ladies and gentlemen, let us pause for a moment and imagine something truly rare, something so profound that its very existence whispers of mysteries we can scarcely fathom. Picture a woman, not rare because of her beauty, though she may possess it, not because of her achievements, though they may be vast, but because of her being, her essence. She is not defined by the role society has carved out for her, but by her harmony with the universe itself. She moves through life with the grace of water flowing downstream, meeting obstacles with a quiet strength that reshapes them over time. She is rare because she knows she does not need to become anything she already is. She has realized in the deepest core of her being that there is nothing outside herself that she must acquire to be whole. Her rarity lies in this: she has dissolved the illusion of separateness. She understands that she is not merely a wave but the entire ocean, that her existence is as natural and as essential as the stars in the sky or the blossoms in spring. In her presence you feel time slow, not because she demands attention but because she embodies stillness. The mind, often so restless, cannot help but quiet itself. She does not impose her will upon the world but instead invites it to flow alongside her. Her wisdom does not come from books or the teachings of others, but from a deep listening to herself, to others, and to the world around her. She knows the profound difference between hearing and truly listening, and she listens with the entirety of her being. This woman is not rare because she is perfect, but because she is authentic. She does not strive to appear flawless, for she understands that the cracks in a vase are what allow the light to shine through. She embraces her imperfections with a gentle humor, knowing that they are as much a part of her as the moon is a part of the night sky. And if you were to ask her about her rarity, she might laugh softly, for she does not see herself as rare. She knows that what makes her unique is not hers to possess. It is something universal, a quality that resides within all of us but is so often forgotten. Her rarity then is simply this: she remembers what we have forgotten. So if you ever meet such a woman, do not try to hold her or define her. She cannot be caught like a butterfly or catalogued like a precious stone. Instead, let her remind you of your own rarity, your own connection to the boundless, infinite whole. Because the rarest woman in the world is not just one person, she is a reflection of the infinite that lies within us all. The rarest woman in the world, you see, is not rare in the way that diamonds are rare precious because they are hard to find, their value determined by their scarcity. No, her rarity is like that of a sunrise. She is not rare because she is hidden, but because we so often fail to truly see. Each morning the sun rises, painting the sky in hues of gold and fire, but how many of us take the time to marvel at it? The rarest woman, like the sunrise, is a phenomenon of existence that invites us to awaken, to look beyond the ordinary and witness the extraordinary in what has always been there. She is rare because she lives fully in the moment. While others are caught in the endless tug-of-war between regret for the past and anxiety for the future, she resides in the now. This moment is all there is, she would tell you, not as a philosophical abstraction, but as a lived reality. And because she is so present, she transforms every interaction into something sacred. A simple conversation with her feels like the turning of seasons, each word a ripple that touches something deep within you. But do not mistake her groundedness for passivity. She is a force of nature, as soft as the wind, but as unyielding as the tide. Her power is not the kind that seeks to dominate or control. It is the quiet power of growth, of transformation. She understands that true strength lies in adaptability, in the ability to bend without breaking, to flow around obstacles rather than confront them head-on. Her resilience is rooted not in resistance but in acceptance. She is rare because she embraces paradox. She knows that life is not a puzzle to be solved but a dance to be danced, a song to be sung. She does not seek certainty because she understands that certainty is an illusion. Life is change, flux, and flow, and she welcomes its mysteries with open arms. She is both fierce and gentle, wise and playful, grounded and boundless. To the untrained eye, these qualities might seem contradictory, but to her they are simply different facets of the same jewel. There is a certain humility about her that is disarming. She does not strive to be extraordinary, and it is precisely in this lack of striving that her extraordinariness emerges. She knows that the ego is a clever trickster, forever whispering tales of better than or less than. And so she lets it play its games without taking it too seriously. She laughs at herself as easily as she laughs with others. Her humor is light as the breeze, lifting the weight of the world just a little. Her presence is an invitation not to follow her, but to follow yourself. She does not offer answers because she knows that the answers you seek cannot be given, they must be discovered. She might tell you a story, share a metaphor, or pose a question that lingers in your mind like a melody you cannot forget. And in doing so, she leads you back to yourself, to the realization that you are not separate from the world, but an integral part of it, as much a part of life's rhythm as the beating of your heart. She sees beauty everywhere, not because the world is inherently beautiful, but because she brings her full attention to it. A fallen leaf, a drop of rain, the laughter of a child, these are not mere details of existence, but gateways to the infinite. She would remind you that the universe itself is an act of art, a spontaneous expression of wonder, and you are a part of that art. To see her is to be reminded that you too are rare, not in the sense of being special or apart, but in the sense of being irreplaceable, a unique note in the symphony of existence. The rarest woman in the world understands that love is not something you find or something you do. Love is what you are. It is the essence that flows through you, connects you, animates you, and because she knows this, she loves freely, without attachment or expectation. Her love is not a cage, but a current, lifting you up and carrying you forward. She loves in a way that makes you want to love not her, but life itself. But do not mistake her love for weakness. Her love has boundaries, not walls. She knows the difference between opening her heart and losing herself. She stands firm when she must, not out of anger or fear, but out of respect for herself, for others, for the intricate balance of life. Her boundaries are not barriers, but invitations to meet her in a place of mutual respect and understanding. The rarest woman in the world does not fear death, not because she is reckless or unaware of its inevitability, but because she understands that death is not an end, but a transformation. She sees it as part of the same cycle that governs all things, the ebb and flow of tides, the waxing and waning of the moon, the turning of the seasons. She knows that to cling to life is to miss the point, for life is not something to be held on to, but something to be lived fully and freely in every moment. She moves through the world like a pebble dropped into a pond, her actions creating ripples that extend far beyond what she can see. And yet she is not concerned with the ripples she creates. She acts not for recognition or reward, but because it is in her nature to do so. Her actions are as natural as a bird singing or a tree growing. She does not force, she flows. And in her flow she reminds us of our own. The rarest woman in the world is not a figure to be idolized or a goal to be achieved. She is a reminder, a mirror, a spark. She reminds us that what we seek in others is already within ourselves. Her rarity is not a rarity of being, but a rarity of awareness, of presence, of truth. And so, if you are fortunate enough to encounter her, do not try to possess her, to define her, to make her yours. Instead, let her inspire you to awaken, to remember, to be. And in doing so, you may discover that the rarest woman in the world is not as rare as you thought. She is everywhere, in everyone, waiting to be seen. She is in the stranger who smiles at you on the street, in the friend who listens without judgment, in the quiet strength of those who carry burdens we cannot see. And most importantly, she is in you, waiting to be realized. For the rarest woman in the world is not an exception to the rule, she is the rule, revealed. And so we find ourselves drawn to this rare essence, this extraordinary being who embodies the dance of life in its purest form. Yet in seeking her, we often miss the point entirely. To look for her as if she were an object, something separate from ourselves, is to perpetuate the very illusion she dissolves. For the rarest woman in the world does not exist as a fixed entity. She is not a treasure to be uncovered or a secret to be revealed. She is a way of seeing, a way of being, a state of awareness that transcends individuality and encompasses all. Her rarity lies not in her inaccessibility, but in our inability to truly see. How often do we rush past the miracle of existence, blind to the beauty that surrounds us? We chase after shadows, pursuing ideals and illusions, while the truth waits patiently in the present moment, like a flower blooming unnoticed by the roadside. She does not hide, but we are so busy searching elsewhere that we fail to recognize her when she appears. What makes her rare, then, is not her distance from us, but our distance from ourselves. To encounter her is to be reminded of the profound connection we have forgotten, the connection to the whole, to the eternal, to the essence of life itself. She does not point to herself, but to the infinite, to the boundless reality in which we all participate. And in her presence we are invited to remember, to awaken, to see the world not as a collection of separate things, but as an interconnected web of being, alive and vibrant and whole. She is like a mountain, unshaken by the storms that rage around her. Yet she is also like the wind, ever-changing, flowing freely, impossible to grasp. She embodies the paradox of strength and surrender, showing us that true power lies not in resistance but in acceptance. She does not fight the current of life, she moves with it, trusting in its flow, knowing that it will carry her where she needs to go. Her wisdom is not the kind that can be taught in words or captured in books. It is the wisdom of the heart, the wisdom of being. She understands that life is not a problem to be solved, but an experience to be lived. And so she does not seek answers, but embraces questions. She does not cling to certainty, but finds joy in the unknown. Her life is a testament to the art of living, a celebration of the mystery that lies at the heart of existence. In her presence, you may feel a strange sense of recognition, as if you have encountered her before. And in a way you have. For she is not separate from you, she is a reflection of the deepest truths within you. Her rarity is not something she possesses, but something she reveals. She holds up a mirror to your soul, showing you the beauty, the strength, the infinite potential that has always been there, waiting to be seen. Yet this realization is not without its challenges. For to see her is to be confronted with the limits of your own understanding, the illusions you have clung to, the fears that have held you back. She does not shy away from these truths, but faces them with compassion, inviting you to do the same. She shows you that to truly live is to embrace all of life, the joy and the sorrow, the light and the shadow, the known and the unknown. For it is in this embrace that you find freedom, the freedom to be fully, authentically, unapologetically yourself. The rarest woman in the world does not seek to change you, for she knows that you are already whole. She does not impose her wisdom upon you, but trusts that you will find your own way. She is like a guide who walks beside you, pointing out the beauty you might have missed, the paths you might not have seen. But the journey is yours to take, the discovery is yours to make. And in this she honors your individuality, or your uniqueness, your sacred role in the dance of life. As you walk with her, you may find that the world begins to look different. Colors seem brighter, sounds more vivid, moments more alive. It is not that the world has changed, but that you have begun to see it as it truly is. You have begun to see with the eyes of the heart, the eyes that recognize the interconnectedness of all things, the eyes that see the divine in the ordinary. And so the rarest woman in the world is not a destination but a journey, not a person but a possibility. She is the awakening to the truth that life is not something to be mastered or controlled, but something to be experienced, something to be loved. She reminds us that we are not separate from the world but part of its unfolding, that our lives are not isolated events but threads in a vast, intricate tapestry. To know her is to know yourself, not as a fixed identity but as a living, breathing expression of the infinite. It is to see that the boundaries we draw between ourselves and others, between the self and the world, are illusions. It is to realize that the same essence that flows through her flows through you, that her rarity is your rarity, her beauty your beauty, her strength your strength. And so let us not seek her as if she were something outside of us, something to be found and possessed. Let us instead awaken to the truth she reveals, the truth that we are all rare, all extraordinary, all part of the boundless dance of life. For in this awakening we do not lose ourselves but find ourselves, not as isolated beings but as expressions of the infinite, as reflections of the whole. The rarest woman in the world is not a figure to be idolized or a myth to be chased. She is a reminder, a mirror, an invitation. She invites us to see the world with new eyes, to live with open hearts, to embrace the mystery of existence with wonder and joy. And in doing so, she shows us that rarity is not a quality to be sought but a truth to be realized, a truth that lies at the heart of who we are. To truly grasp the essence of this rarest woman is to step into the dance of life without hesitation, to abandon the need to pin her down or capture her essence in a box of words and concepts. For she is not a fixed point but a flowing river, always moving, always changing, and always teaching us if we would only listen. The rarest woman is not rare because she is elusive or unattainable. She is rare because she embodies the simplicity we so often overlook. She reminds us that life is not a race to be won or a mountain to be conquered, but a melody to be played, a canvas to be painted. And yet, how often do we miss the music, consumed as we are by our desire to make it more complicated, more important, more substantial than it already is? You see, she has nothing to prove, no need to announce her rarity or seek validation from the world. This is perhaps what makes her so striking, her complete lack of pretension, her naturalness, her ease. She moves as the wind does, gently yet powerfully, unnoticed yet indispensable. She does not demand attention because she does not need it. And it is precisely because of this that she captures it so effortlessly. Her life is a poem written in the language of being, a story told not in words but in the quiet gestures of her presence. She teaches without teaching, leads without leading, because her power lies not in what she does but in who she is. And in her being, she reminds us of something we had almost forgotten, that life itself is enough. But how can this be? How can simply being hold such profound significance in a world so obsessed with doing? The rarest woman does not reject action or ambition, she simply places them in their rightful context. She understands that the point of life is not to achieve some distant goal, but to participate fully in the unfolding of the moment. She does not measure success by the standards of society, but by the depth of her connection to herself and the world around her. In her presence, you may find yourself letting go of your worries, your fears, your endless striving. Not because she asks you to, but because it feels so natural to do so. She has a way of creating space, of opening doors you didn't even realize were closed. And in that space, you begin to breathe differently, to think differently, to see differently. You begin to remember what it feels like to simply be alive. And yet she is no saint, no untouchable ideal. She is as human as you or I, with her own struggles, her own doubts, her own imperfections. But it is in her acceptance of these things that her rarity shines. She does not fight against her humanity, but embraces it, understanding that it is through our imperfections that we find our beauty, our depth, our truth. She does not seek to escape the world or transcend it. She is firmly rooted in it, fully engaged with its joys and its sorrows, its triumphs and its tragedies. She does not deny the pain of existence, but neither does she let it define her. She moves through life with a quiet courage, a willingness to face whatever comes her way with an open heart and a steady mind. And in doing so, she shows us that strength is not the absence of vulnerability, but the ability to embrace it. To be in her presence is to be reminded of the interconnectedness of all things. She sees the world not as a collection of separate objects, but as a living, breathing whole. She knows that we are not isolated beings, but threads in the great tapestry of existence, each one essential, each one unique. And in this knowing she finds her peace. Her life is not a performance, but a practice, a daily commitment to being fully present, fully alive. She does not seek to impress or to dominate, but to connect, to share, to grow. Her joy is not the fleeting joy of external achievements, but the deep, abiding joy of inner alignment. She is not immune to sadness, but she does not fear it, for she knows that it too is part of the dance. And what of her impact on the world? It is subtle, perhaps even invisible, but profound. She does not seek to change the world, but she changes it nonetheless, simply by being who she is. Her presence ripples outward, touching lives in ways she may never know, inspiring others to awaken to their own truth, their own beauty, their own rarity. For the rarest woman in the world is not an exception to the rule, she is the rule. Seeing clearly, lived fully. She is not separate from us, but a reflection of what lies within us all. Her rarity is not hers alone, but ours, a shared inheritance, a reminder of the infinite possibilities of being. And so, if you find yourself drawn to her, captivated by her presence, do not seek to hold her or define her. Let her be what she is, a glimpse of the eternal, a reminder of the now. And let her remind you of your own rarity, your own connection to the boundless, infinite whole. For in the end, the rarest woman in the world is not a person, but a way of being, a state of awareness, a celebration of life itself. She is an invitation to awaken, to remember, to see the world anew. And in accepting that invitation, you may discover that the rarest woman in the world has been with you all along, waiting to be found not outside of you, but within. And so let us remember that the rarest woman in the world is not a distant ideal or a figure to be idolized, but a reminder of what lives within each of us. She is a reflection of the strength, the grace, and the boundless potential that lie dormant, waiting to be awakened. She does not exist to be admired from afar, but to inspire us to uncover and embrace our own rarity, to live with an open heart, to walk with a grounded spirit, and to meet each moment with the courage to simply be. The true essence of her rarity is not in being different from others, but in being true to herself, fearless in her authenticity, and unwavering in her connection to the whole. This is her message that we too are part of the infinite dance, each one of us unique, yet deeply connected. Her life is a call to live fully, to act with love, and to remember that we are not separate threads, but an intricate part of the fabric of existence. So may we each strive to find that rare quality within ourselves, to live in such a way that we too become reminders to others of the beauty and depth that life offers. For in doing so, we not only honor her spirit, but also bring forth our own. Let us remember that we are rare not because we stand apart, but because we belong to each other, to the world, to the boundless mystery of life itself.